Good afternoon. My name's Rodney Glover. I'm the candidate for governor for Florida. And something we need to understand is that where we are today happened over the course of time and with a lot of planning. So if you have an idea that everything can be fixed immediately, you're wrong because they did not intend to break it immediately. You can validate this looking up the Powell memo, the Powell memorandum. His name is Lewis F. Powell. Here's what his memo decided to do. It was to fund think tanks and scholars who would produce research favorable to corporate interests and flood universities and media and governments with that research. It was to infiltrate textbooks and curriculum by monitoring what was being taught and pressuring publishers and universities to change it. It was to build a corporate legal operation to fight in the courts the same way the civil rights groups and labor unions had been doing, systematically and with a long-term strategy. It was to dominate the legislative process by building a permanent lobbying presence in Washington and every state capital to end by making political power a core business function rather than afterthought. And next thing it did was it mobilized those stockholders as a political force. And it controlled the narrative by demanding equal time in media and funding counter programming against critics of the corporate system. When you ask why corporation has so much hold, it's because of this individual, James Powell. Powell also ended up on the Supreme Court, and guess what he did? He ensured that there were favorable decisions made for corporate entities. This was the long game. No one's going to solve this problem quickly. But what they left out was the same thing that I'm bringing up right now. Article 11, Section 3 of Florida's Constitution gives citizens the power, but it only gives this to us every 2 years. You've got to start asking the right questions. If indeed Democrats have all of these good policies, right? And if indeed Republicans have all of these good policies and they're all working for the people, why does it keep flip-flopping? What is the need for us to have a Democratic ran government at this moment and then a Republican ran government at this moment? If they're all saying it was supposed to work, the people it's been working for are those elected officials because they are outside of our reach. Again, my references are Article 1, Section 1 of Florida's Constitution. All political power is inherent to its citizens, yet it doesn't tell us how we can do that. We definitely know that Statute 100.361 tells us that we cannot hold our lawmakers accountable by recall. Recall is the only way we're supposed to be able to touch these individuals. Now, if you are a Republican and a Democrat, can you please ask your candidate if you're not willing to support me? Ask your candidate why they haven't made sure that if they get into these offices that are insulated from them, that they're going to change that system to ensure that they cannot lie, because we know that there are zero laws against lying. You have to be under oath or something weird like that. We're watching congressional hearings where we know they're lying because they have to hold themselves accountable. Now, if we citizens have a way to do this, we need to utilize it. I'm asking you for the platform to do that. I'm asking you for the governor's seat in the state of Florida to govern and reform the system so that we never have to worry about this again. But we're going to have to play the long game for this. This will take time. It will take the 2-year plan that I have listed on Glover2026.com. It will take the 2-year plan because every 2 years is the only option that every citizen has to be able to change their trajectory. They just have to do it together. They just have to do it together. You go and you ask your Republican or Democratic state official, why is the only time I can hold you accountable every 2 years? Because what that means is, it's not even holding them accountable. It simply means that there's a general election and they have to put their seats on blast. That's it. If we don't change the system and we don't get accountability, we're not going to get ahead, citizens. I'm not talking to Republicans. I'm not talking to Democrats. I'm talking to American citizens. I'm talking to Floridians. If we do not get a hold of this system, we will continue to have the same needless arguments talking about two wings on the same bird. The system is the problem. And the individuals currently in that system and the majority running right now have no intention on changing that system. You have a candidate that is ready to reform that system, and I do not need a single legislator to do it. I'm going to ask the citizens to stand behind it. All I need is your support. Go to Glover2026.com. Go in support by turning in your petition. Thank you. Have a great day.